This video is brought to you by SpeTool.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the fortress of sawdust and resin spaghetti. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a company called SpeTool reach out to me, and they asked if I would be interested in reviewing their new router lift. And just recently, I've had a few companies reach out, and this is the first one I've said yes to, because it looks like an interesting product, and it's definitely something that we could use in the workshop. Now, full disclosure, they are not paying me for this review. They have sent me the item free of charge, but I've also stated that if I don't like it, I will say I don't like it, because I believe in calling a spade a shovel. That being said, let's get on and have a look at it, should we? Now, this is a hefty old item, and yes, I have been into it, I have looked at it. I like to open my presents, and it looks pretty sweet. So let's get it out of the box and check it out. Put that over there. Okay, so what we have is a router lift. Now this is how it works. Our router, our palm router I should say, goes in here and gets clamped between these two jaws, and then it protrudes through here. Now we do have another box which has lots more gubbins in. These are the inserts for the router. We've got 3 of those depending on which router bit we use. We also have a handle which is for raising and lowering the router as we need to, and to lock and unlock it. We also have a rest, which, depending on which way we are routering from, screws in like that. Now this is basically, if you have a particular shape that you're routering, you want to rest it on something. Otherwise, if you have nothing around it and you're just doing it freehand, it can kick away, and that can be bad. It can ruin the piece that you're working on. You can even get your fingers. So if you have something that you can rest the piece against while putting it through the router, all the better. And like I said, this just screws into that side, or if you're coming from the other direction, you can put it into there too. It would be good if they had 2 of these in a pack, because then we could put it both sides and we can use it as a fence, and that would be good. But hey ho, one is good. We also have a bag of screws, and there's a couple of little grub screws in there which are for leveling it once we've got it inserted into the desk. We have another handle which is for the jaws, but we'll get into that later on. And we have this little thing which is a bit flimsy, and that is for picking out your insert. But again, we'll get into that once it's in the table, and we'll do a demonstration of it. What do I think of it? Well, I think it's pretty nice. It's brass, it's aluminium, it's steel, it looks good quality. It will look nice and tidy in the table. So, without further ado, should we put it in over there? Now, also in the pack, you'll get 2 Perspex templates. The first one is put down with double-sided tape, and then the second template is inserted inside. Now, the second template is where we cut out the bench, because this is where the mechanism will fit through. Once that's done, we take out the innermost template, and then we router out a 10 to 12 millimeter deep shelf there, and that is where our working surface will sit. Once it's in, we can secure it with the screws that come with the kit, and before we tighten them up fully, we have 4 little grub screws that we put in for leveling, so that is level with our table. That's that one out. And now we just route a lip around here. Okay, so we've made the hole, we've made the lip. Let's see if it fits. There we go. Well, isn't that lovely? So the next thing we do, we take our router without its sleeve, put it into the jaws of the router lift, and then we tighten it up with this. Remember, tighten it enough but not over tight. Should do. The wire's down there now, and then we put it back in, and there we go. And then we use our crank to put onto there, and then we just crank our router up like that. There it is. And there is a lock unlock here, so we put it onto there when we get into the right position we want, and we can lock it in position just so that the vibration doesn't make the router go up or down or anything like that. We lock it in position. So the next thing to do is to screw this into the bench and level it. Back in we go. Right, they go through with the washer on. The next thing we need to do is to work with the grub screws and to level this plate with the bench. As you see, we're a little bit low there, so what we'll do is we'll just pop that in, we'll turn it, and we'll bring it up like that. What we do then, we just tighten it back down again, and there we go. The SpeTool router lift installed. A breeze. Our router lift is installed. It's screwed down and it is level with our bench. We can use it now, and first thing we do is put our crank onto there, and we bring our router up so that we can put a bit into it. Then, as normal, we put our bit in, and with our spanners that came with our router, we tighten it in. There. Now we take it down to our desired height. Remembering that we have to put the appropriate collar in. Now these are magnetized. So once in, there we go. It's not going to rattle about now. So we take it down to where we want it. We then put our guide pin on the desired side of the router bit. So just a little demonstration of cranking up the router bit to the correct height. We check it with our metal rule. Right there. And once we've done that, we will lock it off. Like that. Remember, screw across the grain first. So there we go. you have a little bit of burn, but it is oak to cross the grain, so that'll easily sand out. But with the grain, we are fine. So there we go, the SpeTool router lift. What do you think of it? Final thoughts? Well, I like it. I think it's a really good addition to the workshop. I think the construction of it is really high quality. Like I say, it's brass, it's steel, it's aluminium. It's very smooth in its operation. So yes, I think it's very nice. It's also worth noting that this is their latest addition to their catalogue. So it is a brand new product. If I had to throw a criticism at it, it would be one tiny one, and it is only tiny as well. And that is, you've got the bolts that hold the router lift into the bench, and you've got the tiny grub screws that level it. They all need Allen wrenches, and there's no Allen wrenches in the kit. So I've had to hunt my own Allen keys out to do that. Now you may have Allen keys. Like I say, it is only a tiny criticism, but to add those two little things into the kit would be perfect, and then that would be it, 100%. But like I say, it is only a tiny criticism. So there you go, the SpeTool router lift. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Now if you want one of these, I shall leave the link to it in the description down below. So until next week, see you later.